Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? Yes? Thank you, Lara, for heating up the stage. It feels very nice and warm. You guys feel the vibe? Excellent. So we are here to have a chat, a conversation with our panelists and with you, the audience, about the effective use of social media. Now, the question is, why do you want to talk about effective use? Why not talk about the importance of social media? Why not take it a step back? The reason is, we believe that now the question is no longer whether we should use social media or not. Social media is here, social media is here to stay, and it's time for everyone to jump into the bandwagon. So the question is, how do we use it effectively if you're already present? Now, just to fill the vibe of the audience, so you won't be strangers to us, but also understand where you're coming from. How many here are not in social media? You are not in social media, in no platform whatsoever. After this event, maybe? Excellent. So as you can see, most of us are there in social media, only one person. So it's really not about whether we use it or not, but how we can benefit from the use of social media. As human beings, we are socially inclined to connect and interact with each other. Social media is just offering us different tools to do that and to network. I'd like to now introduce the panelists that are with us today, and we'll be touching upon their experiences and how we can learn from their experience to make our use of social media more effective. Starting with Noor at our school. Noor has 6 years of baking experience working in the baking industry. He has a bachelor's degree in corporate communication from the American University of Paris. She loves Paris very much. And with us is KnowledgeOman. She's the VP of Communication and PR. So thank you, Noor, for being with us today. Thank you. Next we have Azan Al-Bouchi. Azan is overlooking our head of quality assurance in KnowledgeOman, making sure we are on track to deliver quality. He's also working as an engineer in Oman Air. He has his bachelor's degree in mechatronics, did I say that right, from Monash University in Australia. And he's also passionate about personal development and photography. So thank you, Azan, for joining me today. Second there is a seasoned training professional. And he has over 2 decades of experience in the learning and development and HR industry. With us is KnowledgeOman. He's also the president of one of the Toastmaster local chapters in Oman. He brings with us his expertise in learning and development. He's overlooking the ambassador relations in KnowledgeOman, where we have knowledge ambassadors going across the country, sharing their knowledge for free in the community, and supporting us with experience in organizational development. So thank you, Seven, for joining us today. With us is Baby Sam Samuel. That's his name, by the way. It's his real name. He's not a rapper. That's his name, Baby Sam. Baby Sam is an entrepreneur. He's the founder of Advance Company, and he's currently a candidate in doing his PhD in entrepreneurship development, and he's focusing on social media marketing. And that's the area. With us in KnowledgeOman, we consider our branding expert. We'll turn to him for branding advice and marketing, and also supporting us in the partnership. So, thank you very much, Sam, for joining us today. Again, I'd like to get a feel more of the audience with what we're focusing on today, the effective use of social media from a professional perspective. How you can use it in a professional context. And this touches upon job seekers, entrepreneurs, and employees. How many here are job seekers? You can just raise your hand. 1, 2. You should be proud, if you can get a job opportunity. 2 job seekers who hope to benefit from the input share. How many here are employees? And the crowd goes up. All right. How many here with us are entrepreneurs? We have a table to do. Excellent. The way we'd like to start this session is by asking our panelists what platforms they're currently using. And the way we will roll out the session is that we will have a Q&A session at the end, so we'll keep questions towards the end of the segment. So, dear panelists, I'd like to ask you all which platforms are you currently using social media, and which platforms do you use the most? So, if we start with you, Noor.
I currently use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Facebook, Twitter,
Instagram.
and Instagram. Let's start with Papa.
Oh yeah, and LinkedIn, but it's very
We'll have a discussion on that. Excellent. Thank you, Noor. Azan?
The platforms I'm on are Facebook, obviously, Twitter, Instagram, I've got a YouTube account. Recently on Keep, that's a popular one. Should I say Instagram? Twitter.
Okay, so you're really into the social media platforms. Yourself?
I use Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and I also have a YouTube account.
It's interesting when they say you have a YouTube account, which means it's not active. You get that. Maybe Sam?
I mostly use LinkedIn. Facebook used to be tweeting a lot, but not anymore. Yeah.
Okay. So really Facebook and Instagram. Now I would like to start by picking brain of Sajid right here from his experience. Before I get into that, I had an investigator to check the online presence of each of you. Now, according to this investigator, it says that the last time you were active on Twitter was December 24th. And this investigator told me that in LinkedIn, he has 279 connections and 8 recommendations, and your LinkedIn profile has your photo and the details. So now, what I've understood is that you have actually used social media to seek out professionals. And you bring an experience where you had a project where actually social media helped you achieve that project. So could you please share that?
Sure. The aspect of social media that I'd like to talk about here is, how it helped me to get one of my teenage dreams to make it into reality. I had a dream of creating a musical album when I was a teenager. And I didn't know how to get it done, because I didn't have the connections with anybody in the musical industry, or I did not know anything about music. And I did not have connections with singers, or visual director, and so on and so forth. And in 2008, I was in Orkut. And I one day just, searched for music director. And I got a couple of options. I got in touch with a couple of them and mentioned what I was looking forward to do. I really got enthusiastic responses from at least 2 of them, and I associated with one. The interesting part is, after 5 months, I met this individual, but by the time we had already composed 8 songs. So the learning, which I think Ray was pointing at, is that I find social media as one of the best, it's a bridge which connects talent on the one end, and on the other end, there are professionals and organizations seeking the talent. So talented individuals want to showcase their talent to a wide, to a universal audience, and there are professionals in the organizations. So for example, in one of the organizations I worked for, we wanted a content writer. So we searched for the top 100 bloggers, and then found out one blogger whose style of writing was consistent with what we were looking for. So we empaneled him. In another situation, we were looking for, we wanted to rebrand a small company. So we went to 99designs.com and we said what we wanted. And they came with a team of designers, they brought us something amazing. So we had the option to choose from them. And now in KnowledgeOman, we're looking at creating a theme music for KnowledgeOman. Again, the music director search has actually yielded a result, and we're actually looking forward to have the music done. That's it.
So what I see from your experience is that through social media, it opens to tap into other professionals to help you with projects on. In your case, it was passion, a hobby. For professional context, I can see that perhaps employees that need project support can seek out professionals, and also entrepreneurs can find professionals out there.
Absolutely.
How specifically would you say it will be effective for individuals
mean, it is pretty challenging because, when someone is, you're competing with audience from talent in all over the world, so you've got to be really good in order to be sought.
So this is a global platform, and I think the way we can think of it is that it gives those who are active in social media an advantage to be discovered or to feel
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, everyone has to. Thank you very much. We move on to Azan. And again, our friend investigator was checking out online. And Twitter, we were active yesterday. And so 24 hours ago, in Twitter, we're active in Twitter. In LinkedIn, you have 77 connections. And you do have a profile, and you do have a photo there, which I think is really bad. Yes.
That's a good investigator.
Yes. So now, I would like to touch upon your experience because you've noted that as a job seeker and currently as an employee and having an eye on stepping into entrepreneurship, you've benefited from social media. So if you take from the experience of a job seeker, how did you go through it?
Well, starting off, I need to be clear that before I even began looking into possibilities or opportunities provided by social media in terms of, from the eyes of a job seeker, I was on social media, an active user on social media on different platforms from a personal aspect. I was on Facebook, back then it was High Five, I was on forums, I was blogging, so I've done the whole 9 yards, but never really got into job seeking. Then came the time when I was approaching graduation, and we had to look at all the different opportunities we had. How to promote ourselves, how to put ourselves out there. And LinkedIn was a very popular choice. I had colleagues of mine that were already on LinkedIn, so we got some feedback from them. Created a profile on LinkedIn. Tried to self-teach myself around how to properly use it. And to be honest, back then I did underestimate the potential that LinkedIn has. And unfortunately for me, I didn't really use it to its full advantage. It would have been happily ever after story if I said I found a job through LinkedIn, but that was not the case, unfortunately. So that's how I got into the job seeking phase of social media. And moving on to after being employed, I still try to actively update my profile on LinkedIn because that's when I really understood and realized the potential that LinkedIn might have for any profession. Even though you're still employed, you could be seeked out, sought out by different employers. You never know who you can impress. You might be wanting to change careers tomorrow. So you should never underestimate the possibilities that you have out there. The phase I'm currently undergoing is that yes, I am employed, but I also have my eye on entrepreneurship, especially given sort of boom entrepreneurship. So once again, I do realize the potential that social media has for entrepreneurs. You can always brand your products, you can always put your products out there, you can reach a wider audience, and promote yourself before you promoting your product.
So you were more active on a personal level before the step into Did you find that, because I would assume most of us first step into social media on a personal level. Did you find that challenging maybe that you had a personal benefit to it? Or did you divide your practices? How did you go about it?
Exactly. To me, it was not really, well, maybe not at the time. I didn't really realize the risks involved, but that's the way I went forward with it. I kind of divided my platform was that I had my Facebook and back then blogging, or that was more personal. And there was a very clear line. I tried not to mix my personal with my professional. So that's why I created a LinkedIn account. And I tried not putting, for example, my Facebook profile, the link to my Facebook profile on my LinkedIn. I think that's how it's going.
Okay. That's the great. But our product noted that you can still be hunted down on your personal basis. But now we know about it. There's, even on the news, you want to see what the investigator said? Curious what the investigator said? All right. Twitter, you were last seen in Twitter on July 21st. Yeah? Now, in LinkedIn, you are there. I found you there. Yeah? No profile photo. And you have one connection. And I would like to make a promise to Noor, but tomorrow you will have two, because please add me, I'll accept you. Noor, I'll score it, guys, everyone add her to your LinkedIn account, done today. So Noor, you bring a different perspective, that as a professional, you did step into social media, you did step into LinkedIn, but how come you didn't use it actively? Perhaps you didn't find it useful, or were there other reasons?
Okay, in general, social media, I use it mostly on a personal level, but I do have an account on LinkedIn, but I think it's about maybe 4 years out of date. So I wasn't at that time looking for a job or searching, so I just registered and then forgot about it. So, but in order for me to effectively use it in a professional manner, in the future when I'm searching for a job, first of all I'd have to update my current information, and then maybe use Facebook or other social media that I currently use to tap into my contacts and add them into LinkedIn.
Now you bring perspective as well, where from a personal front, you are there, especially Facebook. And perhaps most of us, we do get excited to open up accounts, but sometimes it just fades away. And we forget the benefits that we're missing out and the opportunities to actually be active. And would you say that if you're online on LinkedIn, but you're not active, is that worse than not having an account?
Actually, if it's actually updated, maybe someone would seek like a specific major or a specific occupation that you're occupying. But if it's very outdated, it's the same as not having it at all. So.
Yes. I was talking to you today about the job profile description. She said, oh, that was from the previous one. What we can learn from that is to actually show the and you can tap through your personal network to build your professional. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Baby Sam. Do you know what the investigator says?
Right.
Well, the investigator had trouble finding Baby Sam on Twitter. Are you on Twitter?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Okay, that's why. Investigator found out that you have 500 plus connections in LinkedIn. 500 plus connections. And you have 18 recommendations. So clearly we see you're very busy online in social media from a professional. So as an entrepreneur and managing a business, can you share with us your experience of how you went about social media and what you can learn?
Great. Being an entrepreneur, I have been actually utilizing the social media platform quite a lot, especially with LinkedIn. To give you a couple of examples, one was, when we started the IT-enabled services, when we ventured into that, the greatest challenge was getting the branding done for the company, and the best way to get this branding done was getting tied up with one of the world-renowned IT vendors. It is not an easy task for a startup company like us, and thanks to LinkedIn, we managed to tie up with one of the world's largest handheld manufacturers coming on board and partnering on. So that I could probably say is a great example for the effective utilization of social media. Another one was, it was a lifesaver actually. It's again for LinkedIn, thanks to it. We have been awarded the rollout of one of the largest ERP implementation in the country with one of the largest corporates. And in turn, what we did was like we outsourced this particular job to another company back in India. And 7 days before the kickoff meeting, we were just got informed that the consultants are not available. It was like it just gives me a shiver even when I think about it right now. But in less than 5 days, we managed to get a couple of freelancers online from from LinkedIn, and we just managed to kick off the meeting at the same day as we committed. We also use, apart from IT-enabled services, we also do have a digital media services company, where we effectively uses the SEO tools as well on Facebook advertisements to get the business inquiries and thereby convert them to business orders as well. So yeah, these are the areas we potentially use, and there's a couple of examples that I just pointed out. But at the same time, I should also confess that these are the greener side of the story. But I've also got carried away with one of the connects in LinkedIn and went a little ahead in terms of signing even an MOU, which later realized that it would have been one of the greatest mistakes I would have ever committed. So yeah, that was a great realization in terms to do a very proper cross-check on your connects before getting into any kind of business association. Thank you, Ray.
Thanks for your time. Now, a question that also comes to mind is, since you're actively involved in social media in a professional context, did you feel that you had to reduce your personal interactions with social media? Did that impact you?
Absolutely. Because to be very realistic and honest, I'm very scared, or rather I'll be cautious, I'll be thinking twice about before posting anything on Facebook, though I just use Facebook for my personal connect with my friends and for family, but at the same time, I know that a lot of people who actually watch on it. So yeah, I'm very cautious in terms of using Facebook as well in that manner.
So maybe do we understand that part of effectively using social media is in professional context, you become very conscious of your personal use.
From my personal experience,
kind of
yes.
A bit of that freedom to gain.
Kind of being very cautious about it. That's right.
Thank you, David. I would like to now pose a question to all of you, and if I would ask each of you to share with our guests today, what key advice would you give from your personal experience as well on how to effectively use social media? If you would like to recommend key advice, what would it be? Go ahead.
I find it very interesting and it's a very good tool to use, especially if you have if you studied abroad, you have friends in other countries to keep connected. It's a very important tool, but of course you can also misuse it. So I think it's just being cautious, putting out what you're sure you want to be out there, because like Tariq mentioned, you can't go back and take it. Everybody in the world will have access to it. So it's just being cautious and making sure that it's in line with your values, or whatever. It's different from one person to another. So whatever you're comfortable with, you just think twice before doing it.
If I could sum it up, I would say that social media is a double-edged sword. And I think that's where the word effective use of social media comes from. We should not underestimate what we can do with social media. We should also, at the same time, not underestimate how it can harm us, from what we've seen in Bob's presentation. So, once again, we should really put emphasis on that it's a double-edged sword, and benefits, pros and cons, basically, social media, from what we've learned.
So I can understand from that self-educating ourselves is very important about this, to be aware. Ellen, words of wisdom?
I'd say that, there used to be a saying, there still is a saying, that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But what happens in Twitter is available on Orkut forever. So the message is that if there are any traces of the messages that we post, which is available on the media, which can tarnish our reputation, and we've got to be really careful about it. I remember in one of the organizations I worked for, there was a disgruntled customer, and he wrote a blog about his experience, and soon everybody was sharing it, everybody was talking about it. So we've got to be really, really committed from a company's point of view to ensure that customers are satisfied.
Again, from a professional perspective of it, as an employer, I've actually basically valued a lot of profiles of people who actually says that, okay, fine, this is what my experience is, exposures and stuff like that. But when we actually go online, when we go to the connected world, we can see a lot of contradictory profiles, which is like, if you are in social media, ensure, and if you are a job seeker, ensure to have a unique profiling throughout all your social media platforms, because it's quite easy to find you out what you are, as Tariq mentioned in his presentation as well. That's one of it. And second one is a grievance of any of the employers, I'm sure about it. It's the personal discipline that we have to maintain in terms of using the social media platforms during office hours, and with the kind of personal discipline that we are supposed to maintain in terms of the excessive use of social media during the office hours. Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess the vibe that I get is that thinking strategically of how you're using and how your online presence is very important. Even if you're focusing on the professional, you have to keep an eye on how you're interacting online from the personal space. We will now open the floor to you, lovely audience, to ask questions. And I'd like to call us back to the stage. So I've picked their brains, and I've asked them each, and I've looked into their personal experience and what we can learn from it. I would like to now open the floor to all of you for any questions you have. And when you ask a question, I'd like to think of Q&A session also stands for quick and awesome. So make your questions quick, but make it great with impact. And please...
Is that it provides answer and it puts all the information together on knowledge in Oman. Of course, Google is my first door to open when I want to search about anything in the world. But looking for things in Oman in particular, you don't find anything. Most of them are blogs in Arabic, not reliable information. So what can KnowledgeOman do about that to provide reliable information for people seeking information about things in Oman? Thank you.
Thank you. You didn't say your name, but I know.
Abdullah, I said Abdullah.
Who would you like to direct your question to?
Anybody who can answer the question.
Anybody. All eyes on me.
Like one of the questions. Abdullah, كيف حالك؟ تمام إن شاء الله. Okay,
Abdullah. By the way.
Abdullah, your question was, what can KnowledgeOman provide us in terms of information, correct? Okay. Let me just share firstly what KnowledgeOman is. KnowledgeOman is a community portal that is made of people, by people, for the people. So the good thing about it is that it's owned by people. What I talked about today is social media is owned by people. Now, the people that represent KnowledgeOman are people from the private sector, people from the government sector, people from the different type of sectors. And also, the people in KnowledgeOman.com are local and expatriates who are living in Oman. So, all the people who are there hold information. And in KnowledgeOman, what you do is that if you go to our site, KnowledgeOman.com, and if you register, registration is free. What we do on every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we send out information on different courses, different sessions that we have, where we connect with different companies out there in Oman. 2 weeks ago, I don't know whether you read about the Microsoft App Academy. KnowledgeOman has organized it. We've got many other sessions from religious, science and so on, because what we do is we get different people in Oman to go out to different colleges and share information. How can you know about it? Go to knowledgeoman.com and register yourself and you'll get the information. And we do also have a social media site. If you go to facebook.com/KnowledgeOman, you will get the latest updates on different things that KnowledgeOman is doing in terms of sharing information, session, presentations and so on. Does that answer your question?
Not quite.
Okay.
Well, my question is like, I don't know, things that I, as just a normal person, need. For example, I spent 2 weeks trying to find accommodation. Would I find such an answer or such information in KnowledgeOman? If I'm looking for a fancy restaurant to go to, will I find that information in KnowledgeOman?
Beautiful question.
Yeah, if I want to go, like for example, I just landed, I don't know, I don't have any friends. Will KnowledgeOman help me get to the right sort of people?
Okay, so there's 2 ways. As I said, there's 2 ways of communication, right? Today I talked about social media. One way is coming from the social network and going out. It is what I said, what KnowledgeOman is sharing to the wider audience, not in one area. Could be IT, could be science, could be so on. And the other way is for you to ask the question. So if you go to KnowledgeOman 2 ways. If you ask a question if you go to KnowledgeOman, there's a place called contact, just click there, put your question, and with a great team that we have there. If you don't get a question, if you don't get your answers in 24 hours, call me directly. I will come and give you the answer. That's what we do in KnowledgeOman. The second way, if you go to our social media, post your question. If you don't get an answer within 24 hours, again you call me personally and I'll come and ensure that I answer you. Does that answer your question?
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead. Your name, please?
Yes, okay. Ahmed Sulaimani from Caledonian College. Don't you think, KnowledgeOman, that using social media in like Facebook, Twitter, whatever, isolating people from the real life? As we are working in education, we are facing really a big problem with the students who are not able to stand and do presentation like you are doing right now, which is really an amazing way of presenting. But we are facing a really big problem with those students who are not able to stand and doing presentation, sharing information with others. They do not have communication skills, real communication skills. And this is what is happening in the new generation when they are spending days or hours just in front of the computers, communicating with others without using their real communication skills. My second point, using social media in education. Actually, there is a channel in YouTube called Fallimha. Fallimha this is Saudi channel, and it's used to teach English language by YouTube, by films. Those people from Saudi Arabia, they are using films, and they are trying to just make the students or the learners to be able to communicate by using the vocabulary in English language, in films in English language. Actually, I will not accept any students of mine to use film language in my class, because you know what's happening in films language. It's always, sometimes it's language of streets and something like that, and it's mixed up. So I will not accept as an academic institution to use such a thing. How we are able to use social media in education, how we are able to choose the best thing to use them in social media. I'm almost in the same generation of my students, and I know that I'm trying as much as possible to use social media in my classes and all these things, but it's difficult to control. It's difficult also to use the best thing to teach these students. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I throw that question, I would say, now your question is revolving more about how, as an organization or an educational institute, can use social media and benefit from it.
Yes, and also the effects of social media in the people, in the new generation, when they are not able to use the communication skills, the real communication skills.
First of all, I'd like to thank you. Very critical topics. It's going slightly away from the focus of effectively using social media as a professional. And I think what we have seen too is that I think we need a KnowledgeOman session itself to actually get people's input and discuss. So, would anyone like to answer that? Although it's slightly off topic, but would anyone like to share thoughts? Go ahead. Yes.
Your good name is?
Ahmed.
Ahmed. كيف حالك أحمد?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, I'm going to answer the question. Ahmed, first your question was talking about the social impact of the social media, correct?
Yeah.
Definitely I agree with you. I definitely agree with you. With the social media, and I know people will be very surprised that when I go and meet up with them, they're very quiet. But when they go online, they're very wild. Yeah, like, sure. You know, like a cat. That kind of thing, very, very wild. And it has 2 sides of the coin, that Ahmed. Yes. One is that it gives an opportunity for them to share their voice. Because normally a human being, there are people who are very shy, they can't talk, right? Social media has all this benefit, a beautiful benefit that allows them to speak, to share the information, to read. So there's two sides of the coin there. But I definitely agree with you. It's sort of, for the people who are really utilizing it, or using much of it, it becomes an addiction. That 24 hours they need to use it. So as a parent, as a teacher, as a friend, what you and I need to do is to advise them what is the right ways of doing it.
Okay, so to guide.
To guide them. Does that answer your first question?
Yes.
Going to the second question is, you're asking about education and social media.
Yes.
KnowledgeOman is a very great example of education and social media. I want you to go today and everyone to www.facebook.com/KnowledgeOman, one word.
Actually, KnowledgeOman is updating me, so I'm well
great. And how do you find the knowledge? Is it good?
It's really useful.
Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, there you go. KnowledgeOman is just a site that we have started not the website, social media. We just started a few months ago. And today we've got over 3,900 likes. Thanks to the great team that we have here. And on a daily basis, we share topics, we share information, we share a number of articles that are pertaining to knowledge and education. So, forget about KnowledgeOman now. Let's focus on what you are asking, Ahmed, is the education part. You could create a social network within Facebook. They've got a number of types. They've got a fan base, they've got a personal profile, and they have something called these groups. What you could do as a start is you can create groups, and then once you create the groups, invite the members, which is your students, to go in. Use the model that we have in KnowledgeOman, post articles, post questions, post materials that are related to your subject, and believe me, you'll see it going very, very well. I'll be very, very happy, myself and the team, to come and if you call us, to come and sit with you, and we're going to do it totally out of support to ensure that it works very, very well in the education sector. That's what we do, in fact. And to help you set it up, to help you get the students on board, and also to ensure that they utilize it effectively, as what we've talked about today. We will do that, inshallah. But that's one of the ways of doing it, Ahmed. And last but not least, in fact, we are having a quiz. When are we ending up with a quiz? I think it's end of this month. A quiz where we're giving out away like hard disks, we're giving out away speakers, we're giving out away iPad, we're giving a lot of things. But then the iPhone 5, I think, is as well. Yeah, the iPhone 5 as well. You get all these great things. We're doing it just for the people to come in, communicate, and exchange information. And of course, that all happens thanks to the supporters that we're having in order to send the information to you. Ahmed, does that answer questions?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice questions, Ahmed.
We'll keep in touch, actually.
Sorry?
We'll keep in touch.
Definitely, all the time.
We'll visit you.
Definitely.
Your name?
Sabr Yami.
And do you want to come up?
I can shout.
Maybe the ones behind you.
Okay, very generic question. What can KnowledgeOman do for a company, as myself, an entrepreneur? How can you help me effectively use, learn, benefit from social networks or media? That's one. Two, as an event organizer, I would like to know do you have a possibility where we can link up, especially with, if I have events for the community, nothing to do with IT, but maybe, you can help create awareness, promote, or you can participate or support in any way.
Okay, I'm going to answer two questions. Question number one is, how can we help you as a company? The most important thing is we would like to establish with you is really what social media is, what is the social network is, and ensure you and us as KnowledgeOman are in sync of what this platform is. And then we will not tell you, jump the bandwagon, do it. No, we will not tell you that. We will give you a complete explanation of what is it, the risks, and so on about the social media. And then we will work on something before coming out with social media as a complete strategy. We're going to sit with you, with the team, understand what your business is doing, who are your audience, who are your clients, what are they doing, are they in social media or not. We're going to sit with you, work with you as partners to ensure you have your presence online. your presence on the various social media platforms that are there, and how it should be updated, what kind of information you should go there. I know many companies who have social media experience, and believe me, they are not really effectively using it. So what we're going to do is add effective data out of it. So that's as part answering the question about what can we do as KnowledgeOman.
Can I just continue?
Please.
How does that go about? I mean, what do? We set up an appointment, what, where?
We'll set up after this.
You read, you know, I'm an IT guy and very much like a computer box. So what my part is doing is just sit down and, you know, create the pages if possible. But we've got Reem here, along with the great team that they have. We're going to sit with you. They can sit after the session and agree on that. So looking at the other question, that answers the first question.
Fine.
Great. We go to the second question is, you said to about the awareness. KnowledgeOman.com, I think, sadly, because of me, it looks about the IT. We're totally not IT. Very much not in IT. We do a lot of community initiatives. If you go to KnowledgeOman.com today, click on the initiatives and projects, you'll see we have initiatives that are various. Because the people that represent KnowledgeOman, I don't think anyone from here is IT except Sam, who is also an entrepreneur plus an IT. Myself, I'm the computer box. We've got people coming up from the banking industry, we've got people coming from the airline industry, we've got people coming from the training industry, and all of us come and sit together and see what next can we do to share knowledge, what next can we do to work with organizations to go out there, push the knowledge and awareness. And if you're talking about awareness and knowledge, we have done massive. We started in 2008, April, KnowledgeOman, and today we've done many sessions from religious sessions, from scientific sessions. We've got Sheikh Khalfan al-Aisri who came in and gave a number of sessions. We've had women development sessions. We had some IT sessions. Social media. These were sessions that were engineered by KnowledgeOman, different team, but also you're going to say, but what about me? I've got in a company, and believe me, it is even better because you know yours part very well. In fact, Sabra, I know you are one of the leading organizations that are looking to advance companies in Oman. What we're going to do is ensure that it goes to different parts of the country because all the colleges, universities, and companies are welcoming us because we deliver nothing but quality. That's what we do. So we will work with you as partners to sit together and understand exactly what are the different programs you have. And we'll go. We can do the road safety. We can do about, different type of topic. You tell us, we sit together and we can do it. And giving examples, I really like to give an example of proof is in the pudding. Okay. So proof is in the pudding. We have worked with a company which is called the London Speaker Bureau. We are with them, in fact, we're partners. We have recently worked with Microsoft to train over 130 people from Oman, from the police, and some people are from the private and government sector, and they came in, they were trained. What we do is we bring this company on board, they sit with them and see how we can pass on the knowledge. They bring the skills, the knowledge, we bring in the ensuring the awareness and event management part of it, and the community closer, because we believe that people really believe of people. We see, working with people rather than with companies. So if Microsoft would have come, would have been able to come, or the London Speaker would be able to come alone and do the events. But because the people might be, okay, they're doing it for business or so on. But KnowledgeOman, it's their own people. Because, Sajan, Noor, Sam, Azan, come from different industries. We all sit together and do it. And you know what? All of us I work in a company. He works in a company, all of them work in a company, and we all come together to sit after working hours passionately to see how can we share knowledge, how can we pass on knowledge. And of course we thank our family members for allowing us to do that. That's the good thing. So yeah.
And actually I want to link something that I've seen questions asked, is that I feel there's a direction towards how can we benefit from local platforms to effectively use social media. Although we're talking about Facebook, we're talking about Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. However, the direction that I'm sensing is that people are trying to see from the local platforms how can they use an effective organization. I think that's something beautiful for us to take and think about. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you. Any other questions?
Thanks, guys, for the nice discussion. I want to add something regarding to what our brother Ahmed or Ali he mentioned something before, yeah? Something regarding like personalities. We studied something, because my major is like linguistics, I'm studying translation, and we have studied something regarding like social, situated personalities. I might like seem like introverted, like within myself, person in my class. But outside the class, I'm like extroverted person, like I'm like an open-minded, so something like this. So what he said, like it's not related to the personalities actually. And also regarding like the presentation skills actually and the communication skills. And Tara, thanks for the great presentation actually. I really like it. So the thing is that the problem that we are having here in Oman, even at my university, is that because we were studying like for 12 years, like in like public school, not a co-educated atmosphere, yeah. So the problem that when we go to like a university or college, so we start to have like this co-educated like atmosphere. So a person like find a bit difficult to like not face a problem to adapt himself or herself to the new environment. So that's why he lacks or she lacks like the presentation skills at the beginning. I don't know, like because I used to be like that type of student. I used to like as if there was an earthquake and the mind that was to shake or something like this.
You're doing great now.
Yeah, so I'm doing great because like I put myself into that situation because there is something like cultural barriers sometimes between like girls and boys. So we were not used to such an environment. And later on we came to the government put us in such an environment, so we have to be in that environment. Some students, they still, because sometimes we have to do presentation, and some girls will come and talk to us like, could you please be absent for this class? I said, what? This is like a university, like some hell or something. Yeah. And regarding like using social media, because we have this group, English Language Bridges, actually, ELB group, at our university. So whenever they have an event, they'll post like on their page on Facebook about whenever they have like an open day or an English cafe or something like that. So they are using like Facebook page, their Facebook page to announce for an event that they are going to have at that day. And my question is, thank you. My question is, now I'm like confused because my friends kept telling me, insisting like, you have to have a Twitter account. You have to have a Twitter account. It's a new word actually. So the problem, I don't want to have like a Twitter account. And now you have like, we're talking about something like LinkedIn account. So do I have to set like priorities first to know which steps I'm going to follow regarding these things? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good question.
And my name is Andrew. Sorry.
Thank you. So you'd really like to know what to prioritize as a platform student?
Well, it basically, what I feel is like, it depends on what exactly you are intending to get out of social media platform. For example, if it is something to do with your profession, I would strongly recommend it's LinkedIn to start with. That's what I feel. But if you really feel like getting connected to the world, that's where, apart from Facebook is something which I'm sure that, it's like you all are there. But then yes, Twitter is a good platform. But if you're looking from a professional angle, from our experience, I feel LinkedIn is a great platform to work on.
Can I add something? I think you should just try them out and see what you like, because if you're looking, like you said, for a professional platform, then you LinkedIn is only work related. There's nothing else to it. But Twitter, some people use it to update like every hour. I went to this place and I ate this and I did that. So if it depends on your personality. Like for me, it's just too much. I mean, I don't want to know what everyone's doing. So it depends. I think you should try them out.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
So I think as well, just to sum up what the feedback you gave today is that as well, using LinkedIn, because I also started to utilize social media from local platforms perspective. So to end it, thank you, Dr. Nawari, for your talk and sharing with us your Q&A. Thank you, Nawari, for sharing with us your experience. speakers and joining us in the panel session. Thank you, Azan and Bush, as well, for your experience in joining us today. Sajid Khan, thank you very much as well for sharing us your interest and experience in being part of this session. And David Sam, thank you as well for being part of the panel session. If we can please get him ahead of